It's Unicorn Girl 83. You feel that chill in the frame, where the weird gets weirder and the walls all learn your name. Lolcows screaming like ghosts in a busted mirror glow. Spooky vibes hit hard when the whole room starts to go. Truth cutting like ice right through the air. One more look and you're already there. Unicorn Girl A3. Unicorn. Weird gets weirder, baby. Weird gets Unicorn Girl A3. Unicorn. Think twice before you stare. Teeth in it, and it bites your pride. Every clip, come back with a cold eye on the ride. Those comments, yeah, they stay in your chest. Make your pulse go hard, make you second guess the rest. Truth cutting like ice right through the air. One more look and you're already there. Unicorn Girl A3. Weird gets weirder, baby. Weird gets weirder. Unicorn Girl A3. Unicorn. Think twice before you stare. Mirror cracked, but it's still watching. Every grin got a shadow crossing. Say the name, let the room go cold. Unicorn Girl A3 in the back of your soul. Unicorn Girl A3. Unicorn Girl. Weird gets weirder, baby. Weird gets weirder. Unicorn Girl A3. Unicorn Girl. Think twice before you stare.
Hey Tasha, how are you, love? Thanks for joining. Just doing a little preview of for tonight. I found a really cool documentary I wanted to check out with you all, so here we go. Oh, I have to share my fucking screen, for fuck's sakes.
This is the most notorious haunted house in the world. It is to be found in the sleepy seaside town of Amityville, an hour away from the hustle and bustle of New York City. 30 years ago, a truly horrifying crime was committed here, when 6 members of the DeFeo family were shot dead in a single night. Even now, the details of exactly how these brutal murders were carried out remain shrouded in mystery. 1 year later, the Lutz family...
This is such a sad story, too, if you really think about it. Oh, God. And the guy still is 100% adamant there was something in the house.
They moved in. They fled from the house, having lived there for only 28 days, claiming that they had been driven out by terrifying and unexplained supernatural forces. Their story was the subject of a media frenzy, turned them into celebrities.
Yes,
and became a worldwide bestseller.
Very, very sad. Very sad. Hey, Justin Retro, how you doing, love?
The Amityville Horror. It would spawn numerous books and films, including one that was released just this year. Mediums and psychic investigators have claimed there is a curse on the property. Others say that the Lutz's story is no more than... Of
course you can. Give me a second, I'll drop the link. Here you go, hon.
A clever money-making scheme built on the gruesome history of the house.
Is probably one of the most haunted homes in the world. It's certainly one of the most publicized haunted homes in the world.
Whatever happened, it was a confluence of events and personalities, and it meshed to form the perfect psychic storm.
It's just this web of lies, and the motivation was simple enough.
They produced a beautiful commercial scam. Their version is not a true story, but if they call it a true story, how could you say that they're liars?
There were too many things that had happened and were going on to sit there in denial that something wasn't right with this.
I guess the Amityville horror really is supposed to be me, because I'm the one that got convicted of killing my family. I'm
Because you
the one
did.
I'm the one that's supposed to be possessed by the devil.
What is the truth about the house in Amityville? And is there really a curse on all who live there? The mysteries and controversies surrounding the Amityville story begin with the horrific events that took place on the night of November 13th, 1974, when 6 members of the DeFeo family, mother, father, and 4 children, were shot to death inside this house.
I had an office in the front of my house, and I was sitting in the office, and my friend Al Saxon comes in, and he said, "Rufus, I got something to tell you. You're not going to believe this." He says, "Everybody next door is dead."
We saw
I couldn't even imagine. Oh my God.
several of the bodies being taken out. I'm sorry to say one of the children's bodies fell off the tarp. They were carrying it in, and I saw...
Right, Tasha? Like, this is... I picked this specific one because it covers both, like, both theories. Like, was it haunted or wasn't it? Was it a demonic possession, or was the guy just insane? You know what I mean? I like to see things from both angles, unlike other people. Oops. Press play. There we go.
saw one of the murdered children.
It was ghastly, but pretty straightforward murder case, or at least that's what I thought at the time.
It was just very eerie. It was very quiet and just a chilling, frozen moment, the kind that you never forget. It's a picture that...
In case you're wondering, Tasha, oh, absolutely. It is very interesting, whether it's paranormal or proven not paranormal. I like to see things from both sides. But in case you were wondering about the title, I put that there on purpose because there's certain people who are live just continuously looping and lying about me. Going over my kick stream from yesterday like I'm supposed to care. She dropped my DMs too. And I was also testing Misery, and he failed. Totally failed. Oh. I'm learning.
that you keep in your head always.
Here you had so-called idyllic suburban family, Italian Catholic. The family had its own business, which was an auto dealership. And of course, with an Italian surname, there are the inevitable whispers about connections to organized crime.
Hey, Justin, how are ya?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I had to make some background noise.
No, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I know. I need to post about it. I'm worried for Misery, but I think it comes out. Yeah, he will. He will. He's a smart guy. He absolutely will learn. But he's got to learn that on his own. I already told him and he's, I already warned him. So you are who you hang out with. That's what everybody keeps telling me. So now, she was so pressed because I became a mod in Azria's stream last night. And I made Azria a mod. What's
Sorry,
that?
I missed you on like Kick and stuff. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, honey. Don't worry about it. He's smart. He's picking up on stuff. It takes time around here. Oh, I know. It's just, I am concerned slightly.
On Kick, we could do movie nights over there if you want to.
Yeah, I'm doing one tonight on the Amityville Horror. I found the original movie. It's free on YouTube, so I'm going to play it over there at 6 o'clock. I'm just doing like a little documentary just to kind of give a preview of tonight.
A mob killing was quickly ruled out, and the police began to focus on the only surviving member of the family, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr.
George Harrison came, who was chief of detectives over in Suffolk County. And he said, can I use your house for a while for our headquarters? Everybody in my neighborhood was scared to death that there's somebody loose in this town.
From the beginning, Butch DeFeo, Ronnie DeFeo Jr., was suspected. He was originally not arrested. He was taken into protective custody.
They decided now they're going to take the Ireland house, which was next door, and turn that into their command post. So they took us all over there.
Next thing I know, they had him in my house and they were questioning him.
That went on for some time until his grandfather showed up. The police officer heard Ronnie's grandfather tell him, "You'll stop."
Oh, I have no doubt she knows. And that's what I woke up to a fucked up text message, and I explained to him this all to him. And it's not my fault if he didn't listen to them. But I don't have any issues with Azria. I like her streams. I've been watching her for a while. I just never went in the chats. But she provides, like you, she provides information on important topics. And it's fun to be able to go into a chat where you can talk all the shit you want and not worry about it.
Throwing the family name in the mud. I don't want to hear anything more about your sister.
Maybe next time I'll make my title all about Tasha and see how mad she gets that. She can read over that.
Yeah, so I'll be there for your movie night tonight. It's gonna be
all
good.
right, cool. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be at 6 p.m. I don't know what time zone you're in, but I'm on Eastern Standard Time, like East Coast time. She has her own opinions in the chat. Yeah, the chats had me laughing, girl. They had me laughing. You have my permission to use any of my content. Oh, thank you, Tasha. You have mine too, honey. Anything you want to use, even from the past. If you want to call out any hypocrisy or anything, feel free. It's all there. And if it's something unlisted, I can get you a link.
Just admit to the murders.
I just have to be careful of what it is.
I told them in the beginning things that were true.
Because of my children.
To get the pressure off of me.
Even before this, the Amityville locals had already made their minds up about who had slaughtered the family.
I walked around the neighborhood and I said, can you tell me anything more about what happened? And almost to the person, every kid said, Ronnie did it, Ronnie did it.
I was in my car. I believe the reporter was Joe Martin. Came on and said that the killings had happened. And they didn't say that Ronnie was dead with them. And I said to my wife, who was Ronnie? Ronnie was, put it this way, a wild teenager.
He had a reputation for using drugs, for violence, for fighting with his father.
He was a punk. All they did was...
Sorry, but that sounds like any typical teenager. especially a boy going through puberty. I've raised 5, I should know.
Drink, gamble, and fight. If you knew him...
Now, my children never dabbled in anything drug related, but fighting is normal. Yes, that's what I like too, Tasha. Like, I like to hear both sides, like I said. And then there's also the scenario of hearing 3 sides, because there's always 2 sides to every story, and then in the middle is the truth. And that's kind of like what I see you as. Like, you're the middle of both sides of stories. You are the truth teller.
And you knew the situation, I guess, or you ever spent any time around him, it was not something that he was incapable of doing. And when everybody else said that,
I'm doing good turning my camera off, though.
Yeah. I only ask. The reason I do it is for my safety. You know, like, because people can take your photos and use them, and please be careful who you panel up with here, okay? Because there's a lot of creepy people out here.
Okay.
Okay, just be careful. I'm not telling you what to do or where to go. That you're allowed to go wherever you want. You're grown up. But you have a few of us out here concerned on certain panels you go on. Okay, so just be careful. Always keep your camera off, okay? On your own stream, that's different. That's your stream. But when you're going into somebody else's, like, yeah, see, Tasha said, yeah, just be careful. Just keep your camera off, okay? I would hate to see something happen to you or somebody take advantage of you, because a lot of these people have people that dox people in their chats as moderators and everything else. So just please heed my advice and just be very, very careful, okay? You know you're always welcome here. This is a safe place.
There was a lot of problems, you know. And it's not that I could sit here and lie to you. I could say that I knew something bad was going to happen to my mother and father.
Within a short time afterwards, Ronald DeFeo Jr. was officially named the suspect. He was the alleged murderer. He was the accused.
After a short, sharp interrogation, DeFeo confessed to the crimes and gave the first of many versions of what happened.
The standard story is basically Ronald DeFeo Jr., who was then 23 in 1974, woke up at approximately 3:15 a.m. and, for reasons unknown, basically killed his entire family while they slept.
He took the rifle and shot both of his parents, who were sleeping in the master bedroom.
God
Then he shot his younger brothers, 2 of them.
Oof.
And then he went to an adjacent bedroom and shot his sister. And then he walked up to the third
You
floor
want unicorn?
bedroom,
I'm going to stay on your
shot
channel
his
from now on.
assistant.
I'm good here.
Yeah, you're always welcome here. You know that. I know sometimes I don't pay attention to the chat. I apologize for that. So, like, just have one of the have one of the mods, like, put caps or you just use caps and be like, hey, drop the link. Okay,
So we're going to go on Kick and we're going to have a good time, huh? Tonight.
Yep, we're gonna watch Amityville Horror tonight.
After what happened, it was like a nightmare. I'm looking at my mother and father dead, my sister. I said, my God. I got scared. I ran out of the house, jumped in my car, ran down the street, and got my friends and came back to the house.
DeFeo's confession did not explain a number of puzzling mysteries about the killings. Mysteries that would prompt rumors of accomplices, conspiracies, or influence.
They were each shot with a .35 Marlin. We had an experiment conducted when we were preparing for trial. The noise level of the .35 Marlin, and that Marlin could be heard 4 to 5 blocks away from the house.
Nobody heard a thing. I did find, however, one of the neighbors who heard at about between 3 and 3:30 in the morning the family's dog barking. It was crying or baying.
With all the shots that took place, there were approximately nine blasts from a Marlin. There was no evidence that any of the 6 victims had made any attempt to escape.
What was so odd is how you managed to shoot 6 people in the middle of the night in a quiet neighborhood without awakening any of the people. A shotgun blast is pretty loud.
You're very welcome, Justin.
That doesn't make any sense.
One might argue, well, maybe they were being held by another until Ronnie came around and did what he did.
I thought perhaps the bodies had been moved.
Oh, Jesus. Is she back again? For fuck's sakes, Llama, what do you want? I can't even see you. For fucking Christ's sakes.
From their original spots. The autopsy reports show that no, they were not moved, that they were in the original places that they were when they were shot. There were no drugs found in the bloodstreams, and
Yeah, it'll be through StreamYards, but it'll just be on Kick. It won't be on YouTube. It works the same way. You just click the link and you'll come up.
Again, the victims are found lying face down in death stretch. There seems to be something almost systematic and very methodical about it that would seem to involve in more than just one person.
The curious anomalies of the crime scene would provide some eerie clues as to who or what had been responsible for the killings in Amityville. After Ronald DeFeo had confessed to shooting his entire family, attorney William Weber found
Hey, Jumbo, how are ya?
himself faced with the difficult task of defending him. Weber began by investigating what went on in the DeFeo home.
The family life at the DeFeo residence was kind of bizarre and unusual, because on one hand, they appeared to be very religious artifacts throughout the house, statues throughout the exterior of the house. But
Good to know. I'm glad you're doing good. No, because you don't have to do as much commentary on Kick as you do on YouTube, but we're watching a movie, so make sure your background noise is at least turned down.
inside, when Mr. DeFeo was there was constant fighting, bickering, yelling, screaming, activities that would go way beyond normal fighting that families may have.
There were beatings that often would occur for no particular reason, from what I understand. The father would just fall into these terrible rages, and Ronald often became the focus of those rages.
Ronnie's friends were afraid to come into the house because they were just afraid of the father. There was testimony about the father beating the wife in the presence of Ronnie's friends.
And that kind of abuse often leads to abuse.
That is scary. That is a very bad, scary situation right there.
Abuse of others that are weaker or more subordinate.
So when you look beyond the nice, quiet suburban street, there were troubles in that family.
Many people told me about the abuse he received as a child from his father. On the other hand, I was also told about the
Well, thank you, Justin. That's nice of you.
great love.
And those of you lurking who's too afraid to come into the chat, my Kick link not only is on Justin Retro Stuff's channel's community tab, but it's also on mine. It'll be at 6 o'clock tonight Eastern Standard Time.
He received from his mother, and his close relationship with his brothers and one of the 2 sisters. So he was a very unusual and difficult personality.
We were really a close family, you know. It's a shame what happened, but it happened.
The other thing about Ronald DeFeo, of course, was he immediately started ranting and raving from prison that the devil made him do it.
Some priest was in the courtroom watching my performance on the witness stand. He felt that my performance, I had to be possessed by the devil.
You know, there were echoes of Charles Manson from the late 60s and the Sharon Tate murders in California. Ronald DeFeo had that same wild-eyed look as Charles Manson.
Well, how do you know he wasn't possessed? Can you prove that?
I don't think he was dealing with a full deck.
Obviously.
Yes, you gotta be insane to kill your own family, or
well
on your way.
I asked a friend and associate, Dr. Daniel Schwartz, to interview him. Dan gave a
Aw, thank you, Justin. Yeah, I'm happy too. I like it over there. I like the emojis a lot better than the ones here.
professional opinion that Ronnie was acting in another state of mind, that he didn't understand the nature of his act.
Weber decided on a plea of insanity. When he interviewed DeFeo about what he remembered happening on the night of the murders, a strange series of events was described that would prompt speculation about who was behind the killings.
Ronnie had taken some drugs. He was watching television, and there was a war picture on. And at the end of the picture, Ronnie was in the room alone. He said initially he thought that he heard members of his family in another room conspiring to kill him. The one thing that he said, and sometimes he said it with a smirk, so I wasn't sure if it was truthful, but he said that a female with black hands gave me the rifle, and I went ahead.
I mean, if I was to go through just kick, probably, but YouTube only does, I think, 12 hours.
And shot everybody.
His original testimony was that at some point, a hooded, black-handed demon handed him a weapon, and that he went upstairs, and that he committed the murder. He said the murder, not the murders.
During the trial, one expert argued that DeFeo may not have acted alone.
Herman Race was a criminologist hired by the defense. Herman Race, in a closed courtroom, that means they cleared out the public, told the judge and the prosecutor that some of the bodies had been moved, that they were not all killed in the positions they were found. He also said that he believed that multiple weapons were used, not just one high-powered rifle.
Intriguingly, many years later, journalist Rick Moran was contacted by a drug enforcement agent who told him that he had the DeFeo home under observation at the time of the killings and had seen Ronnie's sister, Dawn, leave the house.
On the night of the murder, that operative did see Dawn DeFeo wearing a snorkel-type jacket and gloves out of the house.
Really?
With a rifle. Throw the rifle into
That is something I did not know, and I thought I knew everything there was to know about this.
the backseat of her car and drive out towards the point where the city has a dock, which is exactly where the weapon was found by police divers later on. When he told the police that a hooded, black-handed demon came to him and handed him the weapon, but that he didn't move, I believe that's true. I don't think he was in any condition to move. The demon that he was talking about was his own sister.
Dawn DeFeo's night clothes show unburnt powder, which indicates she may have fired a rifle that night.
Moran's theory is that Ronnie and his sister Dawn had plotted to kill their parents together.
I think on the night that they decided they were going to do that.
I somehow find that theory to be one of the best ones I've heard yet, especially with the accusations of domestic violence within the household.
Ron was in no condition to be able to do it.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Can find some good movies to watch.
And that Dawn took a long rifle and committed the murder. Unfortunately, in the frenzy of it, she apparently decided she was going to take out everybody.
I've always been partial to the idea that indeed something special existed between Ronald DeFeo and his sister Dawn. Now, some say that that was incest. I don't know. But there was a special connection, a special bond, perhaps a bond of secrecy. She was the one that was killed the most violently. The head is just completely exploded.
The theory is that Dawn DeFeo killed the family and that Ronnie, in despair, murdered Dawn.
Sure. Let's try to make it something for Independence Day, like what's that one with Will Smith? Isn't that called Independence Day or something? That was a good one. Something like that, you know what I mean? To keep the theme.
So he's responsible for one murder, which would also explain the grandfather's reaction of, you'll take all of the routes. Because he was the only one who was left, and he didn't want to see anything more about relationships within the household or his family name being sullied.
In fact, the jury found Ronald DeFeo to be guilty of all.
Yes, I love Independence Day. I love the part where Will Smith is dragging the alien and he's so pissed off. He's like, I missed a barbecue for this shit. You ruined my day.
The murders, and to be of sound mind. He was given 6 life sentences in February 1975. The DeFeo home at 112 Ocean Avenue was put up for sale at a knockdown price because of its ghastly history. It was then that George and Kathleen Lutz, newlyweds with a young family, went to view the house, and the next extraordinary chapter of the Amityville horror began.
When you look at enough homes, you get a sense for what feels good to you and what doesn't. This house had no reservations for us. It was the answer to so many different things that we thought would be perfection of a sort. We discussed the events that had happened in the house as a family and came to the decision that we would all be okay with the history of what had happened. But I don't think any of us considered the possibility that there would be something residual there.
Oh shit, dude's still alive?
The Lutzes reported swarms of houseflies infesting certain rooms, highly unusual in midwinter. They were also becoming increasingly anxious about the behavior of their daughter, Missy.
Missy started explaining to Kathy that she had a friend, the friend's name was Jody, that it represented itself to her as a large pig. When Jody told her that he was glad she was there and she was going to be living there forever, that was quite disturbing.
As the days went past, the Lutzes claimed that more and more strange things were happening around them.
When you hear screams at night and you hear footsteps at night and the kids are saying strange things and the temperatures in the house vary and the spots that would appear on the carpet in the morning, the progression of certain toilets turning black, the china actually turning black. When you sit down and you start talking about those, then there's obviously something wrong.
They still don't like to talk about what happened that very last night that finally drove them from the house.
Well, if I had a bunch of spirits and demonic possessions trying to take my soul, I'd get out too.
I will never be able to set aside what had gone on that night, all night, and the boys, where they looked and what they said when they came down that morning.
Come on, babies, come on. Come on,
get out.
The Lutz family say they finally fled from the house in the early morning of January 14th, 1976. They would never return.
I don't blame them.
We did not move in and move out as the same family. All of us were quite frightened by the time we left and knew of no fear when we moved in. And the fear alone was something that changed all of us.
The Lutzes moved in with Kathy's mother, and George took steps to get the house investigated.
I had contacted a fellow by the name of Kaplan, who had represented himself as a parapsychologist. Come to find out he's a vampirologist, and that was supposed to give him credibility, which it didn't with me.
My husband did tell him that we don't charge you anything, but we are a public service organization. And if we find something backing what you say is there, we will tell the public what we found. And if we find that there isn't anything, we'll tell the public that. And if we find that you're putting us on and this is a hoax, we'll also tell them that.
3 days later, George Lutz contacted Kaplan again.
He was very upset by some quote that my husband had said in the newspaper saying that he would be investigating. And he said, I told you I didn't want any publicity, and, I'm going to have to now postpone your investigation for at least a couple of weeks because we didn't want any publicity about this. And my husband found out the next day that that was the same day that Lutz and his wife had given this press conference in the morning. So in the morning, he's giving a press conference, and in the evening, he's telling us he's canceling our investigation because he doesn't want the publicity.
In an
very interesting.
Extraordinary twist, this press conference was organized by none other than William Weber, Ronald DeFeo's defense attorney. Weber was now representing DeFeo in the appeal against his earlier conviction. Seemingly, he and the Lutzes had made contact in the immediate aftermath of their leaving the house.
Weber called a press conference with Newsday and told us that Newsday demanded that we be there.
Again, a bell went off with my husband. Why is William Weber, the defense attorney for the mass murderer Ronald DeFeo, now representing this gentleman Lutz, who had moved into the house afterwards, and what's the connection there?
Aw, you're welcome, Justin. Thank you for being mine.
I was approached by a Paul Hoffman, who at the time was a freelance writer for the news, and indicated that the Lutzes would like to meet with me. And I said, I too would like to meet with them because coincidentally I had been given an oral commitment that we would get a large advance for a book and a movie.
Weber never, in those first meetings, ever brought up the idea of that. He was very keen on helping his client get psychological help. At least that's what we were led to believe. We felt that what happened to us was an indication of what quite possibly could have also affected him.
At one particular meeting, Weber claims he revealed some key details of the DeFeo crime, details that were to be of vital significance in the Lutzes' subsequent story.
We were there from about 9 or 10 in the evening to 3 in the morning, drinking wine. And I can't tell you how many bottles of wine we had, but it was many. I had photographs of the crime scene, and based upon the photographs and other facts that I had related, we did.
Oh, God, no. No, Jumble. I'm not falling for her gaslighting again. I'm good. Sorry. And if she sent you over here to ask, you go back over there and tell her I told her to leave me alone and never bother me again. Absolutely not. She's blocked.
Developed what ultimately turned out to be part of the Lutz's version of the possession aspect of the case.
The Lutzes let me listen to a tape recording that they had.
Thank you, Tasha. Okay, well, no, I'm just saying. Absolutely. Yeah, just, yeah. Exactly, Tasha. I'm not going to be made her content.
Made with William Weber. And in fact, George Lutz, before playing the tape, prefaced his remarks to me and said, I'm not particularly proud of this.
For instance, I showed them pictures of the blackish, greenish fingerprint powder that was all over the house, put there by the police who were looking for fingerprints. And they said, wow, look, there's the slime coming from the...
Yes, Tina, I'm giving kind of a preview because I'm doing a kick stream tonight and we're going to watch the movie over there. So... Oh, I know, Jumble. You're good. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm staying away from all of that. Oh yeah, for sure. But he's on his own. Yeah, I got my Kick link on my community tab, and my very friendly co-host here has also posted it on his.
The doors. We had pictures of Dawn's third floor bedroom that had dead flies all over it. Well, they took Dawn's
If you'd like to join. If you'd like to join and watch.
room, and they had flies flying around all the time. They supplemented the facts that I was telling them about the case, and it all appeared in their book.
I think when they sobered up or the cold light of day, they felt, maybe this didn't feel.
Yes, it's going to be the original one, not the remake. It's the original one.
Right to them. But in this tape, William Weber already had, he was purporting to say, hey, we can get movies, books, film rights. He was already talking about percentages and cutting deals.
He was in the process of putting together some kind of book and movie contract with DeFeo, and he's...
Yes, Tasha. Public service announcement from Tasha. UG's thoughts and opinions are subject to change without notice. Deal with it. People, exactly. I like it over there too, Justin. Yes, I like the original one a lot better too. I didn't care much for the remake. Thank you for the public service announcement, Tasha. I appreciate it.
Sent a contract to our house that included paying DeFeo some 5% of whatever the proceeds were. So Weber was involved in actually trying to pay DeFeo for the murders. At that point, we broke off all contact with William Weber.
They just disappeared off the face of Long Island after that.
With the Lutzes underground, interest in the Amityville horror story was building, and New York TV station Channel 5 were determined to get the scoop.
I got in touch with George Lutz and said, your family needs help, because they were clearly terrified.
Laura called in a celebrated pair of psychic investigators.
Yes, Justin, and I have really good mods, plus you're a mod in here as well, so if somebody is coming in here and harassing you, or if you feel like something's being harassing you, feel free to time them out. I think the longest is 24 hours. I try not to ban people unless they're in here doxing or making threats or other, making accusations without proof and stuff like that. So just time them out if you feel, if I don't see it or one of the other mods don't see it. And mods, if anybody comes in here harassing this nice man, please make sure they are timed out for 24 hours. Or if it's really bad, just kick them.
Gate.
Especially the certain group of people that we all know about.
Is based in Connecticut. Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Type of work that we do is investigation into the paranormal.
Thank you, Tasha, because I don't want him exploited or harassed in any type of way. And I don't know if Azria caught it, but I made her a mod too, so if she wants to keep an eye when she's streaming and he's up here, she sees anything, she can kick him.
Paranormal, the supernatural, the preternatural.
Thank you, Tina. Yeah, he's a sweet guy, and he just likes to chill and have a good time. He has a really pretty cool channel. So he goes over like all the stuff from the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. It's really cool.
From
Justin, if you want to drop your channel link, honey, you can right in the chat.
Haunting phenomena caused by human spirits or through poltergeist activity or the demonic inhuman hauntings. We've worked on numerous possession cases and exorcisms. And Warner Brothers.
It really is. I love that stuff because it reminds me of my childhood. It's great. And sometimes he'll do like a reaction to different snack foods and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's the rights to our life.
George Lutz met us at the edge of the property. He did not even want to step foot onto the grounds.
It was a horribly foreboding type of a feeling throughout the whole house. You knew that this house was infested by something other than human spirits. That's for sure. That was more than obvious.
I know these two have passed on already, but I wish they would go over in spirit form and tell Lee to get rid of that castle he stole from Vlad the Impaler. Oh, he got beat up again.
When the Lutz family claimed that their home in Amityville was possessed, a local TV station assembled a team of psychics and arranged to film their investigation of the house.
They got parapsychologists, they brought in some other psychics, and it was arranged to go in there on the night of March 6th, 1976.
Soon after the Channel 5 news team and their reporter Marvin Scott arrived at the house, people began behaving unusually.
Nothing happened to me, but things were happening to people around me.
The way people were affected was just crazy.
First thing that happened, our cameraman, Steve, got to the landing on the second floor, and all of a sudden he bent over, clutching his chest. He had stabbing chest pains.
The overwhelm.
Yeah, it's free to watch. I have premium, so there shouldn't be commercials, but I don't know if they will put any in there. I don't know how it works exactly. I'm not the smartest with it, but I do pay the $13 every month so that I don't have to have commercials. So we should be good.
Overwhelming impression was very sad.
I had the impression of a teenager who had done something that had changed his life entirely, and he had committed something horrendous.
When we went up to the second floor, of course, the psychics could feel the remnants or the bad vibes. 6 people had been murdered violently there, not 2 years before.
There was a window above me, and I saw a face of a young girl looking out at me. Then I heard crying, weeping. So I said, look to the white light, walk towards it, and everybody you love is waiting for you.
Lorraine, during the seance, said that she felt like there was some evil here that was from the bowels of the earth. It was not just the murdered spirits of the dead DeFeos.
I could see bodies all lined up, or with white sheets over them.
I got the impression of like hooded figures, like monks, right outside the door, closing the door well, looking in at me. I thought, uh-oh.
I get to the top and I go into a room, and Marvin Scott said to me, what is it? What is it?
There's Justin's channel name. You are doing a very good job, Justin.
Said to him,
you're almost at 800 subscribers. You're doing very good.
I hope this is as close to hell as I'll ever get.
So I took the holy water and I opened it and I said to him, get thee behind me, Satan.
Yeah, there's theories on both sides that they were real and that they were fake. I personally, my opinion, I feel they were real. Only because, look what happened. They took whoever owns the museum now took Annabelle on a fucking tour of the United States. When they took her here to PA, we lost the use of 911 for 2 hours. She caused a breakout in Louisiana. She caused a fire on a plantation. They put it out, and then the fire just magically started again with nobody inside. And then she gave her handler a heart attack. So I truly believe that they had something. They had something. Yes, anyone can sub to your channel.
And I went like that, and you could hear like water on a hot stove go, and then everything in the house stopped.
After the seance was over, we proceeded downstairs. At that point, Ed had his crucifix and he was leading Lorraine.
It was wild. Like, the Warren said, don't touch the doll, don't move the doll. And what does the person do? He takes it on a worldwide tour. Aw, thank you, Justin.
He stopped at one point, almost as if he was like thrown back by a gust of wind. And he later described it as being assailed by, I think, a legion of demons.
It's like the rush of water against my chest, holding you back so powerfully.
Again, as a reporter, I have to tell you, I did not see anything. I did not feel anything other than the reaction of Ed, Lorraine, the other psychics, and the other people around me. At 2 a.m, I remember Marvin Scott turning to me and say, "We don't have it." In other words,
well, we're all trying to get you there, buddy. We're trying hard.
this was not The Exorcist for television.
Although nothing happened for the TV cameras, one photograph taken that night would later apparently reveal a mysterious presence.
The camera was set up in a tripod and it just automatically shot off a flash photograph every few moments. And there were rolls and rolls of film of this particular doorway. It was into our daughter Missy's room. The photographs were being cataloged by a secretary I had years later in California. And she was pregnant. And every time she picked up this one particular picture,
Well, that stuff doesn't bother me. I just, I like doing this. Even if I don't end up monetized. I don't care. I like, you know what I mean? I like doing it. And it's fun.
a baby inside her jumped.
And lo and behold, on the second floor in the doorway of one room, there is the distinct figure of a little boy peering out from the doorway.
Oof.
There were no children.
No, absolutely not.
In the house that night. So it's like, okay, where did this come from?
And we called Missy and asked her, who was this? And she said, oh.
Yeah. It is terrifying. I'm actually going to be going on the road in October to explore some of these places like asylums and abandoned hospitals and stuff, creepy hotels that claim to be haunted. I thought it would be fun, something to do, different type of content, you know.
Oh, that's the boy I used to play with there. First we had.
And of course I'm going to stream it so y'all can enjoy it with me. We can all be terrified together.
Heard of that.
The Lutzes never returned to 112 Ocean Avenue. The bank
Me too. That's why I've changed my whole channel to, this is basically my content now. Oh, did Justin fall off? Oh, Justin, I hope you have a good day, hun. Yeah, UG spooky trip. Absolutely. I got a list going.
claimed the property, and their possessions were auctioned off. George and Kathy moved to California, claiming that they needed to escape the influence of the house and the glare of publicity as their story gathered momentum.
Amityville becomes a sensation, and it's everywhere. It's in the news. It's all over Long Island. It's on the tips of everyone's tongue. Have you heard about this case, which is a compendium of all of the most horrific things that have ever happened in the paranormal, all in one case?
The psychics came out of the woodwork. Exorcists, parapsychologists, vampirologists, every one of them came out of the woodwork with a theory that they knew exactly what had happened there.
Among those joining the party was Professor Dr. Hans Holzer, America's most famous ghost hunter.
I particularly like this picture that clearly shows a white outlines of a horse overimposed over me. Now it so happens that the entity in the house that was disturbed was an Indian chief on a horse.
Hans Holzer had been introduced to me as a man who had written about 50 books in the psychic arena, poltergeists and ghosts in the White House, ghosts in every house he's ever visited.
On January the 13th, 1977, Holzer, William Weber, and Laura DiDio entered the house with renowned deep trance medium Ethel Johnson Myers.
The only thing you need is a good deep trance medium so that if an entity is present, they can use the vocal cords of the medium to make a conversation with me.
It's very eerie and quite shocking to see the physical transformation that this woman underwent.
As soon as we got out of the car, before we even entered the house, she said, "There's an Indian around here."
All of a sudden, she developed an Adam's apple.
After a while, this lady began talking in
a what? A what? That is okay.
Strange gibberish language.
Her voice dropped several octaves.
Damn.
And she was talking with an Indian chief who was buried.
See, there we go. There was an Indian chief, Indian burial grounds. Telling ya, leave them spirits alone.
On that.
I don't understand how some of these people don't understand why Native Americans are so pissed off and haunting the shit out of everybody. We stole land from them.
Why are they angry?
Because it's been a sacred place, and this is over a very, very special chief. Oh, I can't move my face.
This turned out to be an Indian cemetery that had been used to build houses on, very much to the dismay.
Yeah, Tina, exactly. Like, a lot of people don't understand. Of course, when you're disturbing a burial site, because my ex-husband is 95% Micmac and Cherokee. I don't know which one's stronger. But so my 4 older boys are huge percentage of Native American. And when my tragedy happened back in 2005, I wanted to get ashes, and he said no, that because of his religion, we buried him. Yep, it's happened here in PA too, because Interstate 80 goes from here all the way to the West Coast. Okay, honey, I'll get you. And there's constantly car accidents and everything, and then they don't get why. Right? They're all like dumbfounded and don't understand. Like, you dug up sacred ground to build a damn highway. That's why they're mad.
Of the Indian who was buried there.
And what does he make them do?
Violence of death. I don't know, my skull's cracked and my neck's stretched.
What will the male do under those circumstances?
Anything the Indian desires him to do.
Despite the fact that people have said it's the most haunted house in America, it is not a truly haunted house. There are no ghosts there. There are no spirits there except the Indian chief. And what he wants.
Well, can you blame him for being pissed off? Can we just agree to that, sir?
Wanted, from his point of view, was get off my land.
As the theories multiplied about what was in the house, Amityville was about to become a publishing sensation.
All of a sudden, it's a book. The book, for whatever reason, took off. I can't describe how quickly. It became an instant bestseller.
I think their initial printing was 25,000 books, and they had never printed anything even close to that with the first printing. And it sold out as soon as it reached the bookstores. It was rather quite phenomenal.
It was clear that this story of a haunted house had the power to captivate millions.
The idea that this actually happened to people makes those people closer, because if it's not out of somebody's imagination, then it's real and could really happen to them.
A home is supposed to be where you're safe. And the Amityville Horror destroys all that safe thinking.
This happened right after William Peter Blatty's book,
Oh, you're welcome, dear. You've been in here. I've seen you around. The only rules I have is I don't block anybody unless they're doxing or making like terrible threats. I usually just time them out, like depending on how annoyed they have me or my chat. The highest I think it goes is 24 hours.
Exorcist and the movie The Exorcist came out circa 1973-74.
There seemed to be a hunger, a longing, perhaps maybe even kind of a spiritual question that was looming large about good versus evil.
Even people who professed to be agnostic or atheists were sleeping with the lights on after going to see that movie, clutching crucifixes and running back to church.
It seemed to provide a climate.
Right? Exactly. I don't either. Absolutely not. Hey, I keep saying this. When it's my time, if my haters are still alive, I'm coming back and I'm haunting all their computers. I'm haunting the fuck out of them. I'm going to make them type all nothing but nice stuff about me, and then I'm going to give them a ghost virus.
In which Amityville could breed.
The house itself had now become a personality, thanks to its distinctive top-floor windows.
Everybody, what did you think about those two eyes? The eyes that watch you. I mean, I've heard that.
So Tasha, Tina, if y'all hear people crying, my computer ain't working right, there's some fishy going on, you'd be like, it's you, G. It's you, G. It's not letting me type, it's just making me say nice things about her.
There's a lot.
They'll wreathe for days.
They became the eyes of the house, and if you look at it, you say, that house is looking at me, and that gave it this evil persona.
Something's watching. Something's hidden, something's watching.
The next incarnation of the Lutz's story came when Amityville got the Hollywood treatment.
What happened to them is an experience in terror you will never forget, and you will believe.
Oh, I do. I just have really good mods. Yeah. Like, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. That's the point. But they're so bored. Listen, I'm blaming this all. I'm saying this live. All this bullshit. It is Shani and Rev's fault. And I stand on my ground with that. If they'd stop being so fucking boring, people would have something to concentrate on other than other creators.
In the Amityville Horror.
George and Kathleen Lutz are with us this morning to talk about what happened during those 28 days.
That's right.
Lutz's, good morning.
Shani, you fucking douchebag. I was scream sniped you and your fucking boyfriend, husband, whatever, girlfriend he decides to be that day. And it's all your fucking fault. All you had to do was shut up and let him fucking read so we could all have content. Exactly. But there's so many others out there, Tasha. Like, Von Helton has a whole alien girlfriend. The Squatter married. That shit was fucking hilarious. Like, there's other people. Like, I was in Azria's chat a little bit ago, and I was telling her, because she covers, you know, the P stuff, the predators and stuff. There's a lady on here who's from TikTok. Her name is Leslie Clark. She needs to be covered. She needs to be covered. She is gross. She preys out on young, vulnerable men and women. She's very cringe.
The hype over Amateur on national television and told their story to an eager public.
And I feel like Azria will give it a way better spin than I could. Yeah, it is gross. There really is. There really is a lot of problematic people. And they tell you don't overshare. So they ask you certain questions and you don't answer because you're trying not to overshare. And then they're like automatically, oh, she's lying. She's lying. No. And then, like, if my kids call me, my adult kids, or one of my family members, even if I'm on a panel, I don't give a fuck. I am calling, or I'm muting my entire laptop, and I'm taking the call. It is what it is. My family comes before this bullshit. And if nobody likes it, then they can kick me off their panel. I don't care. Oh, you haven't, Justin? Ooh, so it'll be this. We're watching the original one tonight. Yeah, well, it's not mine. Exactly. Exactly. There's things I feel I shouldn't have to fucking talk about if I don't want to. If you have specific questions that relates to anything that's happened while I've been on YouTube, minus my children, I have no problem answering them. Anything that's happened within the last month on YouTube that has nothing to do with my family, I don't care about answering. Or my fucking work history. That is none of their fucking business.
A week, Kathy's hand had been touched by something that we discussed and couldn't explain. It was just something unseen.
We also had. And I'm not one of those, Tina. I don't tell people where to go. You go wherever you want to go. You want to support Fallon. You want to support Hussey. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care where anybody goes. You want to support AJ? Go support AJ. I'm not that type. I really don't care. I don't police my chat and go over into other chats and just block people. No, I'm just saying, I know you don't. I'm just saying, like, I don't care where somebody goes or comes from. I'm not gonna be the chat Nazi and fucking block people just because they're in somebody else's channel. I thought, this it's YouTube. It's fucking YouTube. Why are you telling grown people if you're over in another person's chat engaging with the content creator? What the fuck are you worried about? You afraid they're gonna spill a secret? But sorry, honey, I was just using them as an example. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna tell me where to go, for sure. I'm not a puppet. I don't need a puppet master. I feel very strongly about this. Nobody needs a puppet master. You go and you support whoever you want to. It will not hurt my feelings. Y'all, my chat, when I do my streams, we can roast each other back and forth and have a great time, and that's what I like. Like, sometimes the people in my chat, they crack me up. They get me. They're funny. So, like, I just want to have a good time. I didn't actually. Yes, you are, Justin. I've actually gained. I'm at 1,015 subscribers right now, according to my Google, my YouTube studios. So obviously, some people think my content's that boring, or I wouldn't have that many subscribers.
Hordes of flies that would appear within 2 rooms, and no matter how many times we would kill them, they would reappear.
Does anybody know if they're still giving tours in this house? I need to research because I've never been in there and I'd love to tour it.
They sold those books and the motion picture came out. All hell broke loose.
It was a media frenzy. I mean, people just descended on the village of Amityville.
People from Ireland, people from England, people from all over Europe.
They were plagued not by ghosts inside or demons.
Yeah, that's the last I heard, that they live there anymore. They sold the house, and the people that live there now, they were at one point doing museum tours, but I don't know if they still are. I'm also going to hit up Salem because they've a few years back they added the Hocus Pocus cottage and the house, that big white house and the cottage that the witches lived in. I thought that'd be fun too, because I'm from that area. I'm from New England, so that's my first stop. I'm gonna go to Salem, Mass. And fun fact, nobody actually passed on. Yeah, nobody actually passed on except the one guy they pressed with the stones. Everybody else was brought to the town over. I want to say it's Danbury, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. There's a lot of people that come from other states that claim to hear voices and this and that. No, they weren't. The gallows were in the next town over. Nobody actually passed in Salem. No, I haven't, but it's on my list. It is definitely on my list. Like, I have to be strategic because I can't drive anymore, so I have to have people help me, which means I'm going to have to work around their schedules. So they may not be like consistent streams while I'm doing it. It may be just like on weekends or like school breaks and stuff like that. Oh, really? Nice. That's what's up.
Demons, but by tourists.
Yeah. I can't drive anymore. I'm disabled, so like I have to work around schedules. But this is definitely something I'm putting a lot of effort into researching. Oh, I love Jurassic Park. They were great. Horror movies, though, are my favorite too. I have almost every single Halloween, Freddy, Friday the 13th, a bunch of different ones. And I don't even, I have a whole collection of DVDs, and I don't even have a DVD player. Oh, yeah, they're my favorite. I just watched the entire, what would you call that? Oh, hell yes, Tasha. Hell yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's one of my go-to movies, too. That or Ted, because Sometimes I just need to laugh. But I definitely like Jurassic Park. But yeah, I have to set up a ride and everything, so y'all just have to bear with me. No, I can't. I got something severely wrong with my back that caused my hands and feet to go numb, and that's scary in itself, just for me, especially already being in a really bad car accident. So when it was brought to my attention by the doctor, he had them sent that into the DMV. Oh, for sure. For sure. I've been watching horror movies since I was little. I love horror movies. Jurassic Park. They don't make movies the same way anymore. They just don't. It's something about the graininess of the movies, the older movies, that makes me feel like nostalgic.
In the rainstorms and thunderstorms, as many as 50 people staying there with their hands together.
That is awesome. That is awesome. He's a funny character. I like Jeff Goldblum.
Just looking at the house like it was a religion.
On Ocean Avenue, people's lawns were just crushed with people parking their car.
Me, Justin? I've actually, this is my second account. I don't remember how to get into my first one from back in 2008. I think I created it. And this one I've only had for about 6 years. Originally I was just a viewer. I came from like TikTok and Instagram. I don't have half the issues over there that I have over here. It's still
trying to get to the horror house.
I had bus loads.
But I basically, it started off because my kids used to upload videos because I like to keep track. We all use the same email addresses so I can keep track. And a lot of my followers over on TikTok were like, oh, you should go over to YouTube and get paid better. Fuck you. And fuck Stephanie Jenkins. It's her fault I found Shanny.
People in my backyard picnicking.
Now we're
from
here.
Sweden. They got stuck in my driveway. I don't know how they even got down my driveway.
People running up and wanting to grab a piece of the house, pulling up a piece of the lawn, taking off a piece of the siding of the house.
One woman hit a cop over the head so hard with a pocketbook, she almost knocked him out.
Anything so that they could go and peer into the windows.
Yes, exactly. The skull Stasha. That's what, listen, I came over here to watch an extended, because you know TikTok only gives you 10 minutes to make a video unless you're going live, and lives don't record over there. And they're trying to make that happen over there, but I've never had problems. They all wanted me to come over here. So one night I was looking up Stephanie Jenkins, and you know how the algorithm works. You know how it works. Once you click on a cow, all the rest are going to pop up, and people who cover them. And I found Shanny. She was doing the whale cry saying Rev was abusing her. And I was like, oh my God, because that's my content over on TikTok started off as like for people who suffered traumatic traumas, because it's a lot more lax over there than it is over here. Like when you talk about certain things, people don't look at you side-eyed, but all because I wanted to see the full fucking story of the Jenkins family. She's lucky I don't live near her. It's her fault, and I'm standing on that. It is her fault I found fucking Shanny. And here we are. dog piles, doxes. I have never, ever witnessed anything like this in my entire life, ever, on any other social media platform.
And really be annoying.
It just went on and on and on.
But just as thousands of tourists seemed convinced by the Amityville story, so there were growing numbers who suspected a hoax.
Jay Anson writes this thick tome, The Amityville.
And here's another public service announcement for those who don't know who Shani and Rev are. Don't watch them. You'll get sucked into the drama community and you will fall flat on your face. And it's going to take years to get out of it, especially people who loop and loop and loop and loop.
A horror true story. And I thought something here
Just
smells
run.
bad.
The original
Right.
articles that came out, they said that they did not see any human forms and that they just had strange noises, bumps, banging in the pipes, things like this.
They were experiencing what on the surface appeared to be some low-level psychic phenomena.
All right, Justin.
No levitation,
Hold on,
no window.
Let me get there. I hate that they put the damn... With my computer, every time when it updated, automatically when my new one came in, it needed updated. And now my tabs are on the side and it's driving me insane. I don't know how to put it back. It was so much easier when it was at the top.
Those being shattered, no doors wrenched off their hinges by unseen forces.
By the time they got to the book, they had green slime and...
You there, bud? Okay, you are. Cool.
red slime and marching bands and Jody the Demon Pig.
We had 116 obvious errors.
That's all right, Justin. Don't feel bad because yesterday I was streaming on Kick and I had to restart it, and our power went out. The entire neighborhood was a big blackout. Like nobody had power for like 20 minutes, and then I had to restart my stream all over again. I was so pissed off, and I was already in a mood to begin with.
Physical errors in the book.
So, but you're good. You're good. I figured either you went to do a video or you fell off, so don't worry about it.
And that's before
You're
get
good,
down
but
to
you're
floating
good.
pigs.
There was a picture that Missy had drawn, one of the Lush children, of Jody, the demonic pig that she said would often appear up on the...
No. I don't care if that's an animal outside. If it got red eyes, I'm not going near it. No.
The second
Not
floor
doing it.
windowsill with its red eyes peering in. We started talking to some of the neighbors, and one of the neighbors said to us, "Oh, what does it look like?" And we showed the picture that was in the book, and they said, "Oh, that's the cat that Ronald DeFeo called the pig because he was fat."
Well, the pig happened to be my wife had a Persian cat. It was a Persian cat, I'm sure.
This cat would actually...
I don't care what the cat is. If it's a cat, if it's a demon, I don't care. The thing had red eyes. I don't give a shit. It's staying right where it is. It now owns that place where it's standing.
jump up into the window and stand there and stare with those red glowing eyes.
And what about those infamous flies?
My God, the murder took place. The victims were removed after 48 hours. The house was then sealed up, and the heat was on. Just doesn't take a brain scientist to figure out how you end up with flies.
As part of their investigation, Jordan and Moran interviewed Jim and Barbara Cromarty, who bought the house after the Lutzes left.
We asked them if when they moved into the house they had made any major repairs. Because if you read the book, you get the impression that this whirlwind of paranormal activity sweeps through the house and leaves it in a state of shambles. No, they tell us. Everything was in perfect shape when they walked through it and they made their purchase.
My husband did a program in which he debated George Lutz, and George Lutz tried to say that the window in the house had slammed down on his son's hands, and he had taken him to Brunswick Hospital to be treated. So my husband said, well, we'll just subpoena the records of Brunswick Hospital, and then you can prove that. He said, well, I didn't really take him to the hospital.
Lady, that's not how that works. That is not how that works. It's called HIPAA. You can't go and subpoena records on especially on children just for an investigation of a house. Yeah, when we had them big clunky cell phones, I remember them.
We bandaged it at home. So the story would change if you tried to pin him down.
I remember when we walked into one of the rooms, there was a window where it was claimed. If you stood in the center of the room, the window would suddenly open and shut violently all by itself. It was on the second floor. So we ran into this room, Rick and I. And Rick pointed out that the floorboards seemed to be slightly uneven. And he started shifting his foot along the floor. And suddenly the window shot up. I thought I was going to jump out of my shoes backwards.
I would have.
The counter.
I just opened the door this morning when I got up to go pee, and my child was just standing there, and I almost had a heart attack. So I don't blame you, sir. I would too. All my children are getting, and grandchildren are getting bells for Christmas so I can hear them coming, because I don't need a heart attack.
Our weights are improperly set, and the window was such that if you did this, you could actually make this window go up and then come down.
Confusion surrounds much of this. I don't know that it will ever be undone in talking about evil. And evil is the absence of God's presence. And as such, then confusion is going to be part of that.
The skeptics had gathered their evidence, and the believers prepared for battle. But what was the truth about the Amityville horror? 2 years after they fled from their home, claiming that they had been driven out by supernatural forces, the tale of the Lutz family was published as The Amityville Horror, a True Story. It was an instant bestseller, and author Jay Anson became the focus of a furious row over what really happened.
What it did was open my eyes to the fact that somebody could write a book,
I'm still stuck on this lady here. What in the ever-loving fuck gives you the right to subpoena a child's fucking medical records? You are not a cop. You are not a CPS worker. You are not a judge or a lawyer. You're a paranormal investigator. They cannot HIPAA people, HIPAA.
on the front cover a true story and then make up 90% of what was inside.
I spoke to Jay, and I said, Jay, do you believe this story? And he said,
Lady, when they're making a movie, they have to embellish it, or it would be fucking boring. When you write a book, when you're writing a book, it doesn't necessarily mean everything in it is true. That's why they say it's based off a true story. Oh my God. Hey, Von Beardo, how you doing, bud? I cannot believe this. I'm still stuck on this lady wanting to subpoena that little boy's medical records.
he said, I'm a writer. That's what I do, is I write. That's all. You know,
Exactly.
whether or not it's true or whether it's not true, that's for somebody else to decide.
Of course, literary license was taken. We're not in support of this aspect of the Amityville horror.
Peter Jordan and Rick Moran confronted Anson with their evidence that the book was not a true story, but a work of fiction.
He said, you're one of those naysayers. You're a skeptic who likes to write non-ghost stories. I like to make money.
Jay said,
I hope you're doing good, Vaughn. I hope the family's doing well.
to me, I'm a writer. My only interest is to write a best-selling book so that I can build a house in Majorca and never have to write again.
And one day I predict, he said, that you are going to be sitting there broke writing your little non-ghost stories, and I'm going to be in an island out in the Bahamas or somewhere with a truckload of cashmere sweaters. And I remember thinking it was the funniest thing. And I started cackling, and he said, "What's so funny?" And I said, "That is the most ridiculous fantasy that any millionaire could ever have." And then after that, I was coming home from somewhere out in Long Island, I had the radio on, and Jay Anson, author of the Amityville Horror, suffered a tragic heart attack today. And I thought, oh, he never got to enjoy that truckload of cashmere sweaters.
Although he never had time to enjoy it, Anson made millions from Amityville in comparison with the Lutzes, whose share was said to be only $250,000. However, George still stands by the author and the book.
He had the most difficult...
I'm sorry. If an author is writing a book about my life in a house that's haunted, and you're only giving me like 1% of what you're fucking making, oh hell no, no, that's not right. That's not right.
Difficult of jobs to explain something he didn't believe in or understand, and he managed a very, very accurate book compared to anything else that's ever been done since.
But accuracy was not something that troubled the makers of the Amityville horror film.
From the best-selling book that made millions believe in the unbelievable.
The original movie took real license, with blood dripping down the walls and the flies attacking the priest the way they did. They could have just as easily have done the flies the way they really happened.
I was.
Fact, because it's a movie. Hollywood always embellishes movies. They embellish TV shows to get you entertained, because if you just do it the boring way, then nobody's going to watch it.
Wasn't
my God.
Really concerned about whether or not it was a true story. It didn't matter to me. I had to create a reality of my own.
I'm coming apart! Oh, Mother of God, I'm coming apart!
I don't mean to laugh. This just reminds me of a couple people.
I had for 25, 28 years, whatever it is. That's such a terrible problem with that film. It's like a documentary compared to what's been most recently done.
George Lutz dislikes the recent film so much that he is suing its makers, MGM. This is the latest of many legal actions he has taken over the years.
Well, if it's the remake, I don't blame him. That one sucked.
In order to protect the facts of what he claims is the true story. And since Kathy Lutz's premature death...
Did y'all see that? Did y'all fucking see that?
This is the latest of many legal actions he has taken over the years in order to protect the facts of what he claims is the true story.
What's that say? Based on the true story. Based. That means it's embellished.
And since Kathy Lutz's premature death earlier this year, he must now do this alone.
She and I experienced this together, and we moved past it together. And we tried to explain it to the world, if you will, together. Her passing means I lost my partner of that experience.
Aww.
That doesn't give license to anyone to create some kind of revisionist history now of what she had to say while she was alive.
But there are some who say that Kathy's death is the most recent example of the evil influence of the house in Amityville.
One of the things that happened to her in the house is she looked into the mirror and she saw this old lady in the mirror. She died in Phoenix of a disease, of a respiratory disease that caused her to age about 30 years. So when she passed away, she really looked very old.
It affected Ronald DeFeo one way. It affected the Lutzes another way. It affects everybody that goes into that house.
Miss Lorraine, can your spirit please go tell Lee to stop poking Vlad the Impaler and make him get rid of the castle, please? He keeps getting beat up by demons. And please tell... And please also haunt the person who thinks it's a good idea to take Annabelle on fucking tour.
There have been a lot of other things that have happened during this case where unusual deaths, but you know, it's got to be attributed to coincidence, nothing else.
People want to believe there's something supernatural. There's something beyond just us. There's a heaven. There's a hell. There are prayers that are answered. There are spirits. There are ghosts. We want to believe in that kind of phenomena. We have a need to. And with that need comes the gullibility factor, frankly, when somebody says, oh, this is a true story.
It's the most documented.
The book says, and the movie says, based off of a true story. That doesn't, oh my God.
Event of its kind, in terms of how many people were involved, how many people witnessed on their own or saw their own or have had their testimony unchanged for all these years.
Do I believe that they were in that house for 28 days? No. Categorically, undeniably, no.
I think that they have.
Were you there? Were you there, sir?
Had this whole thing planned, and they were going to write a book about it, and make
Oh, yeah, they were going to write a book about. Okay.
themselves a lot of money, and you know.
But they didn't get a lot of money. The author got about 95% of it. In today's standards, $250,000 doesn't last very long.
They did.
If a story sounds like it's too good to be true, it probably is. And this was exactly a perfect example of this, possibly the most monumentally successful example of that I've ever encountered, and probably ever will encounter in my lifetime. I don't think we'll ever see another.
Oh my God, sir. They have filmed Friday the 13th, the original first one, in my hometown, in my home state. They also filmed the original Jaws between the beach that's in the state I'm from and in the beach in Massachusetts, and I think one other beach. So stop it. Stop. It's based off a true story. Nobody's saying it's fucking true. Yeah. I didn't even know that growing up until I think I was a teenager, and I never had noticed before, but every time we'd go to the beach, it's always Jaws related stuff. Even when you go to the next beach over, which is in Massachusetts, it's like 10 minutes from the beach in New Hampshire, and they also sell a lot of Jaws stuff. And then I don't remember the other beach. I want to say Maryland, but I could be wrong.
They're Amityville, or I hope not.
They weren't there. They didn't live it. They didn't experience it.
And Friday the 13th was built up north in an actual campground that's used for children with disabilities. My mom actually met my dad that raised me there. He was a camp counselor from England.
And yet they would explain it to you. And that's really a disservice to everyone.
Unless we get a spirit who actually shows up and explains it on camera, which I doubt is going to happen, we're not going to know. So we will keep pursuing
Lady, I understand back then, but right now they've got all kinds of things so you can hear the spirits, right? They got EVP meters or whatever the fuck they're called. The hell are you talking? A ghost ain't gonna come on a fucking in front of a camera when you can't see them and just talk. And God, I need more pot.
the elusive thing, whatever that thing is.
The current inhabitor of the house.
Look, it was me, okay? I'm to blame for everything anyway, so it was me. Okay? It was me. Go fuck yourself. Stop it.
Just believe in any of it. Belief or disbelief has nothing to do whatsoever with what happens. I wish him well. I hope that spontaneous fires will not disturb his sleep or whatever else he does. And I wait for the headlines if and when they occur.
I swear to God, the stupidity of some of these fucking people. Wow. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here and take a little nap before my kiddos get home. And then y'all can meet me over on Kick. We'll watch the movie. Bring your popcorn. It'll be a good time. Peace out, everybody.